All eyes on Doge. Big runner. To the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big runner. To the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Up. Movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Up. Movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.69. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Hey everybody, Kriss here. Welcome on a Monday afternoon after Snowmageddon 2026. Yeah, we got a lot of snow here in Boston. No morning video this morning because I was shoveling. Plus, there really wasn't a lot to talk about this morning. There's nothing really going on. So we're going to talk about Doge. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about, of course, gold and silver, precious metals. Like that's the thing that's moving up and down. Up and down. That's right. Not just up. So we'll be looking at that. And yeah, talking finance and some changes, little changes here on the KrissPax channel. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And hey, Red Bull. Well, I don't remember what the bet was with Chadwick. What was the bet? I don't remember. What did I bet the guy? I don't remember. That was all the way back on Friday. Long time ago in my world. Friday was a long time ago. But I did get two predictions correct on Friday. Yes, absolutely correct on Friday. So we're going to talk about that too. Because the last time, no, I predicted gold would go past 5K. Red Bull. I predicted it. I said gold is going past 5K on Sunday night. I said that. So, yeah, I predicted that. So that would not have been the bet. Because here we were on Friday, right? The 22nd, right? Yeah, we were live here at like 49.40, right? Is that right? No, the 23rd, we were live. And there was a big run up. And it ended at like 40. I don't remember where the end was of the day. It was like right here, 49.84. And I said, yes, Sunday night, gold is going to go past 5,000. You can look it up on my, you can look it up on the video from the live stream. I predicted that. And what did Sunday night do? It just blasted right above 5K. And then early this morning hit a new all-time high of 5,111. So I predicted that. So I would not have bet that. Just kidding. Yeah. I remember. Oh, that's right. He didn't take the bet. That's what it was. Because I said it was going at over 5,000 and he didn't take the bet. That's what happened. See, it takes my brain a little while. It was a long weekend. A lot of snow I had to shovel this morning. Thank you for telling me you were kidding. It was going to kill me, Red Bull. That was going to kill me. So that was the first thing that I predicted would happen on Friday. I said Sunday night, gold would go above 5,000, and it did. And the other thing I said, the other prediction I made was a Dogecoin prediction. I drew this white line. On Friday at the during the live stream, and I posted that on my X channel. I posted the little video somewhere. I was watching the football game yesterday. Yeah, right here. Posted the video. I predicted Dogecoin falling back into the 11s. And Dogecoin fell right back into the 11s and actually hit my line right there at 11.85. It actually hit my line here on Sunday. So for those that say, oh, you never predict anything right. I got two on Friday, short term, but, and someone says, oh, that was easy to predict. Oh, but nobody else predicted it but me. Nobody predicted that but me. So I'll take that. Thank you very much. I'll take that. I don't think that was a hard prediction going into the weekend. What I didn't know was there'd be the shooting in Minneapolis, and you'd end up with the chances of a government shutdown like skyrocketing. It was down here less than 20%. Friday going into Saturday, less than 20% chance of a U.S. government shutdown happening, well, this Saturday, right? Yeah, we had that shooting, and then the Democrats came out and said, well, we're going to shut the government down unless the Republicans like do this, that, the other about Minneapolis. And I'm just like, what the hell, dude? What the hell, dude? So that's quite a flip there. Now we got a whole government shutdown thing to talk about. We got the FOMC this week on Wednesday. Of course, there's going to be no rate cuts. That's what I predicted months ago. That's another one Kriss is going to get right. And now we got this government shutdown thing coming. It's like, man, just one thing after another. But hey, that's life, right? That's life. So with that, I mean, that was a change. That's one thing that did happen this weekend, but that wasn't enough to make a whole video about because there really wasn't anything going on with Dogecoin. But I do want to keep making videos, but I mean, it's the same old story for Doge. It's still kind of following this downward trend line. And I mean, I already told everybody that we were in a bear market. People don't want to believe me. Everybody's got hopium. You got hopium. And I'm like, no, this is a bear market. Just like we see that on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 87.5. And it is following this trend line here. Something like that. So it's going down as well. And those aren't fun videos to make. So instead, I'm going to be making other kind of finance videos. Oh, Pepe's got an ETF for Pepe. Awesome. Pepe ETF. That doesn't mean Pepe's going to destroy Doge, though. So it's nice of you to have an opinion about Pepe, and I have no doubt Pepe is going to do well. But don't make it a competition, Pepe versus Doge, okay? Just cut that, because that's stupid, all right? That's stupid. Okay? We keep it real here on this channel, and we don't get into that crap. But I'm happy for Pepe, and I think Pepe will do well, all right? Oh, just kidding. But yeah, I think Pepe will do well. The ETFs have not been good for Doge, and they probably won't be for Pepe as well, if it indeed starts trading as an ETF. So, but we'll see. Do I expect the bear market to last 4 years? Matt, we'll get into the Q&A in just a few minutes, but yes, I do. I do. Bitcoin will hit a new all-time high in 2028, 2029, somewhere in there. So, Pepe ETF was a filing. It doesn't have an ETF yet. So, yes, Matt, thank you for getting me back on target. Am I going to make stock videos? I'm going to make finance videos. They're going to be all kinds of finance things, which will include stocks, will include crypto, but will also include other things going on for personal finance, real estate, and other things. Because I think everybody should be diversified and everybody should know what's going on economically. Because if you just have the tunnel vision and all you're looking at is Dogecoin or crypto, you miss everything else going on in the world. particularly all of the things that tell me we're in a bear market. So I'm going to be talking about those other things in video starting tomorrow morning. So you'll see that. So it's going to be all kinds of finance things. Because, I mean, just like right now, I'm losing subs, right? I don't get many views on these live streams because it's Dogecoin only. And it's like, you know, it's just like there's so many other things going on in the world. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to like talk about other things. So I'm starting a new series of videos tomorrow that are finance related. But the live streams will still be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we'll look at the charts and we'll look at the Doge news, but we'll look at Bitcoin and we'll look at gold and silver and stocks and other things as well, like we typically do for the live streams, and not a food channel. No. Food and crypto and stocks don't really go together. That would be like way, way out there. I mean, the YouTube algorithm would be like, what? What's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? So that's what I'm going to do. But the live streams, we can talk about all kinds of things, including food. But it's going to be more, this is the time where we're going to talk about Doge more. And we're not going to talk about food. No. Food is later, after we get through all this stuff. And then we can talk about food, but not right now. Yeah. Talk about other finance subjects. There's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, Chuck, there's a lot of other stuff going on related to finance. And so, yeah. So what's going on right now? Bitcoin. I mean, it's in this downtrend, right? Bitcoin is in this downtrend. Doge is in a downtrend, right? But you know what's not in a downtrend, right? Gold. Uptrend, right? I mean, look at that. That's like uptrend, right? Gold. You know what else is in an uptrend? Yes, you know it's silver, right? I mean, parabolic the past few days. Just, I mean, it was already going up, but that was crazy, right? Since Thursday, it just, man, straight up. Kriss is couponing channel. Everybody start snipping your coupons, right? Got to have your coupons. Got to save every penny, right? Maybe I'll talk about some of that too, right? Ways to save money, things like that. Because I believe in all that stuff too. But look at what silver did today. It just blasted up. It's still up 3% on the day, but it was up 12%. And it hit a new all-time high of $117.70. $117.70 on silver, and then profit taking. Profit taking started happening, and it is happening still. We're all the way down to 106. So on the silver chart, I would not be surprised to see this kind of pullback here, you know, do something and retest 100 before, you know, going sideways a bit. That's what I would expect silver to do, would be something like this. So we'll see how that plays out. Kriss's infamous predictions, right? I do actually have a prediction sitting out here for silver. Wonder what that was from. I don't remember. Have some remnant of something. I don't remember what that was. But it was over 105, like Kriss predicted, right? Must be on a higher time frame. Oh, I guess I was saying it'll either, this was an either or. That's what this was. I remember that now. Yeah, we'll just take care of those. But yeah, this silver thing is just crazy what it did. Volume is like way up on silver. Never seen trading like this before in silver. So we'll watch that for silver. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Doge. I will get to that. But we're going to start with Bitcoin, Doge, gold, and silver. Bitcoin, Doge, gold, and silver represent 4 distinct asset classes. Bitcoin, it's called digital gold, right? But right now, it's not acting like digital gold because it's still considered a risk-on asset. And so the money is flowing into the precious metals because there's a lot of upheaval and uncertainty in the markets. And so there isn't this big rotation into Bitcoin happening, although half of crypto Twitter and all those Bitcoin maxis are all saying, well, now the rotation is going to go into Bitcoin. And I'm like, okay, you tell me when that's going to happen, because it's not happening right now. That's not a rotation into Bitcoin. We had a big market maker maneuver on Sunday, dropping the price, taking out hundreds of millions of dollars of leveraged long trades. We came up, and now we're just going to go sideways here. There's no rotation going on into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is digital gold. What's Doge? Dogecoin is, according to Gemini, speculative crypto. Dogecoin is speculative crypto. Precious metals, they're often used for diversification, inflation hedging, and speculative trading. Bitcoin acts as a volatile digital store of value. True. Dogecoin is a high-risk, meme-based cryptocurrency. True. Gold is a safe haven. True. Silver often serves as a more accessible industrial metal. True. So all of that is true. Good job, Gemini, the AI, talking about that. So with that in mind, let's go. Big props, Dylan Leclerc says, big props to all precious metal and sound money investors. You were absolutely right on gold and silver. So even Peter Schiff, we can give Peter Schiff a little golf clap. Golf clap for Peter Schiff. Awesome. But just don't be a jerk about Bitcoin, because you're wrong. Peter, you're wrong about Bitcoin. And I bet you actually secretly have some Bitcoin and you just won't admit it. That's what I think. A fraying international order, persistent monetary debasement, right? So these are the things going on. And supply dynamics of scarce, costly to produce commodities explain why. So we have this international order that we've had with the United States and NATO and the EU and Canada, even, like all like supporting each other. And now that's not happening. Canada's meeting with China and doing deals with China. The EU is threatening the United States. It's just like, yeah, we have a fraying international order. That's not good. We have persistent monetary debasement. Yep, fiat. Supply dynamics of scarce, costly to produce commodities. So earlier, if you were on Tom Crown's channel, if you were over on Tom Crown, Tom made a good point there. He said that the precious metal guys and gals and the crypto guys and gals used to be all together. We were fighting the same fight against fiat, right? A lot of people invest in gold, right? Because they don't believe in the dollar and the stability of the dollar, right? So they put their money in gold, right? But then there are others who put their money in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin and gold, right? Because you don't like fiat. And those two types of people didn't hate each other, right? They just hated fiat. But now, as Tom Crown says, yeah, Tom's a good guy. Bribe. Tom's a good guy. So today Tom said, he blames Peter Schiff for actually creating this divide between Bitcoin and gold. And so, I mean, Peter Schiff was nice to go on Randy Hipper's live stream, right? And they had a debate. And he was just so condescending toward her. It was just like, it's like, you guys should have just had a nice conversation. But he's just like, now he's so full of himself, right? Because gold is up, right? Gold is up, but he's so full of himself that he can't have a positive debate, right? He just can't. Peter Schiff's son owns Bitcoin and crypto. I'll bet Peter owns some too. I'll bet he does. I'll bet he does. So some of us got into crypto, some got into gold. A lot are buying silver now. And I hope you didn't buy the top, because 117, many are saying, might have been the top. That might have been the top right there on silver. This is a drop. This is a big drop that's going on right now on silver. This drop is now over 10%. It's 11% now. So I hope you guys weren't buying silver up here, because I don't know, silver could still turn around and go higher. We'll see what happens. But this silver, right, dropping down like this, Bitcoin's going down too. There's no rotation going on from silver into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going down too. So yeah, that's not happening. What about 2008? So Tracer's saying, look, it's the history of 2008 is repeating. It's a different kind of real estate crisis or mortgage crisis going on right now. It's not the same as that whole 2008 economic collapse, which was really on the backs of that real estate and just giving out all these mortgages to people that they shouldn't have given them out to, right? That's not happening now. It's just that the way the economy is right now, with mortgage rates still high, as opposed to a couple of years ago, you could have got a 3.5% mortgage, and now you're lucky to get a 6.5% mortgage. Maybe it's touching around 6, high fives if depending on where you are. But there's a lot more buyers than sellers right now. I'm sorry, there's a lot more sellers than buyers of real estate. So you end up with all these houses sitting on the market for a long period of time. And they're dropping the price, dropping the price, dropping the price, dropping the price, because they want to sell. And there's not enough buyers. John, FOMC is the same. They're not going to cut. They're not going to raise. It's just going to be the same. And I called that a couple months ago, and that's still like 85% chance of that happening. It's going to be a big nothing burger. Nothing burger. Of course, Jerome Powell is going to say something stupid, right, in his Q&A session, right? He's going to open his mouth and start talking about monetary policy going forward, and something's going to freak the market out, and Bitcoin's going to drop. 15% mortgage on your first house. So that was a long time ago, Compo. Yeah. Yeah. The highest mortgage I ever had was 4.5%. And I refinanced that down to 3.75, and then I refinanced again to 3.5. Is what I did. Yeah, 1985. That was a while ago. So what's happening right now? We got gold hitting an all-time high, right? We got silver just hit an all-time high. This is not a recession, never was a recession, although some of us kind of thought it was a fake recession, right? We are on the verge of a huge collapse of the US dollar. Now, that is scary. Huge collapse of the US dollar. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe that the US dollar is going to collapse, but it's definitely weakening. And we are watching the DXY, right, which kind of tracks the dollar, and it's down, right? The DXY is down. So these pullbacks here are pretty significant for the DXY. We're now down to 97. And we were up over 100 not too long ago. So these declines are real in the DXY. But is it to the point where there's going to be a huge collapse? I don't think so. But the dollar's getting weaker. If you hold any assets, you must read this post. Well, this guy is like, when gold and silver pump like this, it means that big money is de-risking their capital. That's true. Silver pumped 7% in one session. It was actually up 12, 13%. Today, for a while, people are not buying metals because they want to. They're buying because they're terrified of holding anything else. I mean, this guy, these words, I mean, the sentiment, yeah, but not these words. Like, that's only the beginning. In China, 1 ounce of physical silver cost over $134. In Japan, 1 ounce will cost you $139. This is the biggest spread between paper and physical asset I've ever seen. Yeah, Japan's got problems. Japan's in a recession. They're raising their bond yields. That's not good. That's not good. But once the market starts crashing, but is it really going to crash? See, for the market to crash, you need to have a big event, a big catalyst. And this is all just stuff that's building right now. So I don't know if it's going to get to the crash point yet. But big money will be forced to sell papers to cover their losses, forced liquidation. Fed and US government are trapped. If Trump forces Powell to cut rates, that's not going to happen. To save the crashing stock market, gold will hit 6,000. I think there's going to be other things that will probably cause gold to hit 6,000, not definitely tied to rate cuts. The Fed's not going to do that. Trump can't force Powell to cut rates. Now, this summer, right, after we get past May, that June FOMC, depending on who the new Fed chair is, that'll be the interesting one. But that's 6 months from now. Scenario 2, if the Fed holds rates to save the dollar, the real estate and equity markets collapse. So that's the key, is right there. And what I was just talking about was real estate. Because the real estate market is not good right now. Now, there are some pockets of places where it doesn't matter what's going on. People still want to live there, and you put your house on the market, it's going to sell. And that's probably maybe 5 to 10% of municipalities, towns, or cities across the country, of the United States. The other, like 90%, you've got, like I said, you've got a lot of houses on the market, not a lot of buyers. They're dropping prices, and some are going to have to drop them before they're below their buy price just to sell. Many are taking them off the market and then just stuck living in a house that for one reason or another they wanted to sell, and now they can't. So that's what's happened. I mean, the real estate, I mean, he's right. Real estate. Now, is the real estate market going to collapse? I don't see that, but it is going to go down. Yeah, I feel bad for Powell too, John. I do. I think he's stuck. He's stuck in a position. He's trying to do the best he can. But again, he's just the Fed chair. The Board of Governors has 12 voters. They all vote. It's not just Powell deciding on his own whether to cut rates or not, or whether to do quantitative easing or tightening or whatever. No, they all talk about it. That's why it's FOMC. It's the open meeting. So anyway, so that is an interesting post there by a guy who usually posts a lot of shit that is not real, but a lot of this is real and it is going on. Sentiment also says, look, the combined market cap of the top 12 stable coins in crypto has declined by $2.24 billion. Now, we've never had this. Stablecoin market caps have never fell by $2 billion before. Discover Talk. We're short. The shortness of housing is limited in areas. There's tons of houses on the market and they're not selling. They're not selling. I think a lot of people still have them overpriced from 2023 when the real estate market hit its high in 2023. And since then, the overall real estate prices have gone down for the last 2 years, but they're still way up from where they were pre-COVID. There was a gross inflation in house prices because of COVID, and most houses are being priced like people still want houses, but most people aren't buying. The buyers aren't buying at the prices where a lot of these houses are being listed at. And so the sellers are being forced to lower their prices. Powell's not going to get fired, Mamba. He's not getting fired. His term as Fed chair is coming up, end of April. That's all it is. His term is coming up. He's not getting fired. The president is choosing somebody else to take over as Fed chair. Trump could choose Powell to do another term, but he's not going to. But he can't fire him. All right, just keeping it real. All right. Capital is rotating into traditional safe havens like gold and silver. Gold and silver hitting all-time highs at the same time crypto and stable market caps are falling suggests investors are choosing safety over risk. When uncertainty rises, money often flows into assets that are seen as stores of value during economic stress, rather than volatile markets like crypto. And that, of course, my friends, includes Dogecoin. It includes Dogecoin. There's not a lot of money flowing into Dogecoin right now. So Doge is weak. Money is leaving crypto instead of waiting on the sidelines. Normally, when traders sell Bitcoin or alts, that money stays in crypto as stable coins. A falling stablecoin market cap shows that many investors are cashing out to fiat instead of preparing to buy the dips. And they're taking their fiat and they're going to buy gold and silver. That's what's happening. Short-term buying power is shrinking. Stable coins are the main source of liquidity used to buy crypto. When the supply drops, there's less capital available to quickly push prices up. So this is the state of the market. Altcoins are feeling more pressure than Bitcoin. When liquidity dries up, smaller and riskier assets tend to suffer the most. Bitcoin often holds up better than alts in these environments, but reduced stablecoin supply still limits upside across the market. I mean, I knew a lot of this was happening post October 10th, right? When all of that money flowed out of crypto. Following October 10th, the leverage traders continue to get wrecked, and crypto has not come back at all. We had a little relief rally earlier in January 2026, right? As I predicted, we would have a relief rally. It didn't quite go as high as I thought. I thought it would go to 100, 102 for Bitcoin. It went to 98, close. In fact, we can show that for those that didn't see that, but I still have the line on my chart that I predicted for Bitcoin. It's this white one. I don't need my name on there anymore. Right, this is what I predicted. And I made this prediction on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, I made this prediction that Bitcoin would have a relief rally, and then by the end of January, we would be right back where we were. And, well, we're 6 days ahead of schedule. Bitcoin is right back where we were. So this was my prediction, and this is pretty much what happened. So, and again, that's a combination of looking at the news, looking at the financial markets, like everything that's going on, and historical patterns, because history does tend to rhyme. And this is 2022 all over again, as I was showing on previous live streams. This is 2022 all over again. And I mean, that's why I'm going to start making videos about other things than crypto, because it just, I mean, it's hard to get excited making daily videos on crypto when crypto's not in a good place right now. So I'll be making videos on other things financial related, other things going on, more news related, because that's what's happening, right? That's what's happening. And yeah, this sentiment post is like spot on with what's happening. It is the stable coin market cap going down $2.2 billion. That is huge. That's huge. So right now, crypto is exciting as grandma in a bikini. Oh. Joshua, you're going with the Seahawks, huh? Yeah, Seahawks are already favored to win. I mean, they got a great team, no doubt. But Patriots have a way of stepping up. So, of course, I will root for the Patriots. It should be a good game. I'm hoping for a good competitive game, like that Rams-Seahawks game was. That was competitive. Want to see something like that. All right, so that's what's going on, right? Gone through the news. What's going on here? Just a little meme thing like S&P 500, gold, silver, and the Bitcoin says, you guys always think you're better than me. But actually, when you zoom out, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset in the last decade. Well, except it's number 2. Bitcoin is number 2. Number 1 is Doge. In the past 10 years, right, a decade, 10 years, Dogecoin has outperformed Bitcoin. So Lark is wrong saying Bitcoin has been the best performing asset in the last decade, because Dogecoin has done better by like 1,000% in the last decade. But that's the past, right? And we get that. That's behind us. So what do we do going forward, right? What do we look for going forward? Well, MicroStrategy just bought another 2,932 Bitcoin last week. So Strategy B is still buying Bitcoin, another 2,932 Bitcoin. That's crazy. They now hold 3.39% of the total supply of Bitcoin. So that Bitcoin is, I mean, it's like, it's dead, right? It's like that Bitcoin has been burnt because it's sitting in MicroStrategy wallets and they're not going to sell. And now he's not going to get liquidated, John. Do you know why? He can't get liquidated. He's holding spot, right? So there's no liquidation. He's holding spot. And if Bitcoin drops below his number, 74, 75, whatever the average is now, right? It just means strategy stock will go down, right? Because they'll be in a negative position on their Bitcoin. But he doesn't get liquidated. He doesn't have to sell. Just the stock price will be hurting. And you wait 4 years, Bitcoin's price will be back up, and everything's fine. Michael Saylor's not worried about it. The loans are interesting, though. Yes, John, that's a good point. And he would have to play some games, right, to whatever he did. I think the loans were more, I mean, he can find other cash flow, right? He can sell stock, or he can make another preferred stock or something. So it wouldn't be good for strategy. I'll put it that way. But I don't think he needs to sell. I think our chance of hitting 100K for Bitcoin was in January. Yeah, I'm not buying any MicroStrategy stock. Not at all. Not at all. Even at I was eyeing 169, and once strategy got below 169, I was like, well, maybe I can dabble at 159, right? And it hit 159. Right now, where is MicroStrategy stock? It's at 160. Yeah. So I'm not buying though. Yeah, I'm sure he has something up his sleeve too, John. I do. So that's going on. And Crypto Rover is like looking at the Bitcoin gold pair. And Rover says, look, Bitcoin gold has already had 14 months of downward action, but that doesn't mean that it can't keep going down. And that's what I think is happening is we're going to get this extended downward price, Bitcoin versus gold. It's just going to stretch out longer. That's what I think is going to happen. Meanwhile, Doge, our friend Luca here, Dogecoin isn't trying to be Bitcoin 2.0. It's trying to be crypto for everyone. That's exactly why it's winning the long game. Dogecoin is the people's money. So that's a great sentiment about Doge. But Doge, again, is a long-term trade, especially at the beginning of a bear market. Doge is a long-term trade. You accumulate Doge, and if you're just an investor and you're all concerned about price, I get it, right? You want to make a bunch of money on Dogecoin. I get it. But Dogecoin is catalyst-based. We'll go on a big run at some point in time. We have no idea when that's going to be. The Doge ETFs didn't do anything as I predicted. Doge OS is not going to do anything as I predicted. It's just going to tell us, oh, Doge has utility now, but it's not going to do anything for the price. Unfortunately, we need like an Elon Musk intervention, X money launching, like X payments. That'll give a spike to the price of Doge. But again, we're in a bear market, and that's just the reality of it. And then for those on X, Paulo Vidal, Inevitable 360, he's one of the Dogecoin devs. He wrote an X article, his first X article, and it's simply entitled, What is Dogecoin? So for those who want to know more about Dogecoin in a friendly, but yet very knowledgeable point of view, like Paulo has, check his article out on X, Paulo Vidal. All right? Dogecoin dev. And it's all the stuff that we talk about on this channel, but he gets into the actual detail of it. And it's a pretty short article too. So he does not talk about the Dogecoin price here, right? I talk about the Dogecoin price because you guys want to hear about the price, but there's all this other stuff going on too, which if you want to do your research, right, do your own research before you buy something, I recommend you read Paulo's article here on X. All right. That was a long intro. I got sidetracked a little bit here and there. But hey, all good. I mean, Dogecoin's up today. It's up 2.5% today on its price. But it's still in a downtrend. And so we will be watching. We will be watching what happens going forward. Do I have any input on Zcash? Yeah, I told everybody not to buy Zcash when it hit its all-time high. That I did. Because we were watching it then. It was FOMO City. Absolutely FOMO City on Zcash. And we did mark it on the chart. I had a markup here. It came up to $700, and I was saying, guys, do not buy this. This was in November. I was like, do not buy this. Totally overhyped. And It's down 50% since then. So be careful out there. Be careful out there. I mean, you can look at Monero, right? You can look at Monero, crypto. Yeah, and you can see the same thing, right? Big spike up, and then it came all the way back down. And I was like, don't buy this. It's crypto going into a bear market. And just like almost every little spike you see, it's going to come right back down. We have near, right? Look at that. Near went on this huge run early November, and look what happened since. Not only came all the way back down, but then lower and lower and lower. Be careful out there on what you're putting your money into in crypto. Be very careful. Don't FOMO in on this stuff. Gave it all back and then some, John, on near. But yeah, back in November, it's like, near. Oh, it's another security coin, right? And no, it doesn't matter. So yeah, be careful out there. When the new Fed dude comes in, May, lowers rates, that's when alts will bottom and bounce. Yeah, that's going to be in June. Will be the first FOMC under the new Fed chair. I think May is if I remember, May is a non-FOMC month. There's one in April. That'll be Jerome Powell's last as Fed chair. The new Fed chair comes in May, and the first FOMC under his lead is going to be in June. But it's the summertime, and it's the early summer, Con, and you know, right? During the summer, we typically have low volume, and I think we're not going to have a big bottom and bounce early summer. I think it's going to be late summer. I think it's going to take a little while. So, yeah, and Monero also, Pastor. I mean, it's not traded on a lot of exchanges. Heavily restricted in the EU, but there's a lot of exchanges that will not trade Monero. Another reason it's like, do you really want to buy that? Crow and Jasmine, two separate things. Crow is a exchange token. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the exchange. I think Crow will probably get near $1 when it goes on a big run. Not happening right now. So it's going to be a long-term hold now. And same for Jasmine now. Jasmine's back below a penny. And it's just going to, I like Jasmine. I'm looking to buy some back at 0.003 again. When it gets back down there, I'll probably buy some more Jasmine. That's one. Jasmine and Sui are probably the two that I'll probably be buying that aren't a Bitcoin or a Dogecoin, right? Because I'm really limiting the number of cryptos I hold from like the 26 or 28 that I had a couple of years ago. I've gotten rid of all that other stuff. I've got about 10 on my KrissPax DCA portfolio, and I was planning on trimming those in October. Remember October? I was waiting for October. Yeah. Yeah, Turbo. Khan is correct. And we talked about that earlier as well. He's not getting fired. His term is up. His term is up. So he will be leaving the end of April. New Fed chair comes in May. But he's not fired. It's just his term is up. And Trump cannot fire him because the Fed is not in the executive branch. They don't report to Trump. We are in a bear market. I'm holding my money to find out how low this goes. Yep. Right now, and I can only tell you what I'm doing, but I'm like waiting for like the beginning of August or September. We'll see where prices are then. I'm not buying anything right now. If we get a real alt season, but there's no There's no alt season coming anytime soon. All the moon boys on crypto Twitter keep posting these alt season like diagrams and technical analysis and stuff like that. And it's just like, no, not happening. I mean, I would love it if we had an alt season, we all got rich and made a ton of money, but it's not happening. Will Dogecoin ever reach $1? Well, Grinnell, someday it will. I believe someday it will, but not anytime soon. Someday it will. Your USDC on Coinbase is not earning APY anymore. Really? Coinbase stopped? I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing it. That was my plan. My plan was to get a bunch of USDC sitting on Coinbase earning USDC, right? And they're not doing it. I'll have to look at that. I will have to look at that. Maybe I just put it on Robinhood with Robinhood Gold and I get whatever it is now, 3%, 3.5% or something. That's interesting. I'm going to look at that, Yui. I'm going to look at that. Luca, XLM will follow XRP as it always does. And XRP isn't doing great. Back under $2. And it's just kind of going sideways from January 18th, that last dump. So, and I'll bet XLM looks very similar because that's typically what happens. Pretty similar since January 18th. Actually, XLM's down a little bit versus XRP. XRP is up a little bit more, but yeah, I don't think Stellar really does anything. Where XRP does, I would buy XRP over XLM if I was choosing. But I don't like XRP and what they're about. They got their own stable coin now. They're talking to all the banks and the governments and making all these relationships. And it's just like, that's not cryptocurrency. Crypto isn't supposed to have all these relationships with the banks. So I don't like them. I don't like them. If Trump doesn't end the trade war and abandon obsession with attacking Iran or elsewhere, suffer a heavy defeat in the midterm elections. You know, that's going to be bad. Trump wants at least the stock market to be up in the fall, right? So he's going to do whatever he can to keep the stock market going. He doesn't care about crypto. Doesn't care about the crypto market at all. But he does care about the stock market. Because if the stock market is still up for the midterm elections, then he'll get more votes. We could see a 2028 con, like we just saw a 2024 mini alt season, right? November, December. So we could see that again, November, December 2028, depending on the presidential election. And I hate to say that the United States, right, kind of guides the price of crypto, which is traded and owned worldwide, but that's just how it goes. But Dogecoin always can go on its own run and can get a mini alt season going, which is why I like Doge. We'll see how that plays out. When am I going to start buying like stocks? Red Bull, I'm waiting for a stock market dip. I'm waiting for a big stock market dip. So I'm not going to buy right now. So here's the S&P 500. And we go out on the weekly, right? And we had this dip back here. right? And that was the tariff dip. So we had that tariff dip, and so S&P 500 went down 20%. We actually might be coming into that kind of thing again, where we do something like this. I would expect S&P 500 to do something like that, and I'm going to be trying to find that bottom, right? I'm going to find that bottom. That's what I'm looking for, is that kind of move on the stock market. Of course, Trump wants it at least coming back up into the fall. He wants that stock market coming back up. So I expect something like this to happen, just like we had a year ago. This was all tariffs. What's it going to be this time? I don't know. But there's a lot of things building up that could actually cause that to happen. And that's when I'm going to be buying stock. I think stocks overall are overpriced. Look, we're at all-time high. S&P 500. NASDAQ, we're right near the all-time high, right? The Dow Jones, 49,000, right at the all-time high. I'm not buying stocks at all-time high. I'm not doing it. I'm waiting for the big dip. That's how I buy crypto. I wait for the big dips. I buy on the dips. Now, if this keeps going up, right, and keeps creating new highs, and then does a little dip, right, I may have to buy like a little more at that time, or at a little higher price, if that's all we get. I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't know if that's going to keep happening or not. So, but I'm not buying right now. Can Doge go to 5 cents? So I did a live stream back in December called the Bear Market Bottoms. And I predicted bottoms for a lot of different cryptos. And this was just based on, fib retracements, which of course I don't believe in, but it gives you targets, right? The fib retracement gives you a target. And for Doge, it was like, I forget, 6.9, somewhere in the sixes, 6.5 cents. That's what the fib said. And I did fib lines for Bitcoin and ETH and XRP and a bunch of others in that Bitcoin, or that crypto bear market bottom ETF, or live stream. So you can check that out on my channel. Go to my channel, and you can scroll through it. It's probably not that hard to find. Once you get into it, let me see where that was. Crypto bear market bottoms, right there. So forecasting crypto bear market bottoms, Doge, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Solana, Pepe, Bonk, and others. I did in this live stream here. So so check that out. You can scroll through and you can find where I start showing the fib lines, and you can check that out. I went through that. Crypto bear market bottoms. That was a good one. It only has 880 views. And I thought people would be interested in that. But they just want the Doge price to go up. They just want to hear about big green candles and all-time highs. And I'm like, but this is like the reality of it. And people aren't watching this. 880 views. It's like, guys. I didn't say 6, 7. I did not, Warbsy. Ryan, hello, 6, 7. Was it really 6, 7? I don't think it was. Maybe I'll have to look at my own bear market bottom video and see what I actually said. The only videos I watch anymore is KrissPax. Thank you, Turbo. It's over. Once all the super cycle people realize it's a true bear market, the selling will happen. I mean, people like Tom Lee and Raul Paul, they're just, it's hopium. It's all hopium. They want the price to go up. That doesn't mean it's going to go up. Because I look at all this other stuff, right? I look at all this news, all these other things going on, and none of them point to a super cycle. CZ can say super cycle 2 all he wants. Not happening. I really think before Trump bows out, crypto is going to be on a moon mission. I don't know. Con, I do not think Trump cares about crypto. I really don't. He made a lot of money on his own with crypto, crap ton of money. But yeah. I just looked on my Coinbase. It says 3.5% on all USDC. Yeah, 3.5%. Yeah, so I don't know, Yili. Maybe it's your setting or what country you're in or something. That might be. Hey, T, SoFi, I don't follow it. But you give it a funny emoji, so you're kidding. Trump is going to protect the stocks, Con, not crypto. That's my opinion. Gold and silver profit money will rotate into crypto. Some of it will, but not right now. I think more of it's going to go into stocks. I have a bunch of Stellar. Once it loses 19.7, it's going to 16 and then 10, according to the Fibs. Yeah. You have to round trip it. Another cycle, unfortunately. Trump should transition. First female U.S. president. Since alts have been so compromised due to higher for longer and insane quantitative tightening. Yeah, the quantitative easing is going to take so long to take effect. The down is faster in the 4-year cycles. Tends to be, but we usually have black swans going on. So we could have that, right? Someone earlier said, hey, if Bitcoin goes below 74K, right, MicroStrategy, you'll be in the red on all of their Bitcoin holdings. That's going to be scary. That could be a black swan. Curious to see if Dogecoin will go on a mini Dogecoin run on its own. Yeah, I think it will, Matt. I think X money is going to give it a little pump, at least a little pump. Oh, that's what the 6-7 is. It's con 6 to 7 year compression on altcoins. Okay, so it wasn't me. Load your bags in the summer. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking to buying in this summer. Mark thinks 4-cent Doge. That's pretty low. The people have spoken. Someone's going to ABC my way out of here. We'll see you, Goose. Tom Lee is dying to afford a haircut. He wants it to go up so bad. He really does. He's been buying so much ETH, and he's going to be underwater. The Clarity Act has nothing to do with Dogecoin and crypto, for the most part. It's more about regulations, like who oversees what, the SEC versus the CFTC, stablecoin crap. It's like, nah. Anthony, you're holding 87 coins. The saddest part is I only long on spot and have over 610,000 in the market. I'm down 300. Yeah. And that's the start of a bear market. And unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse, Anthony. I think it's going to get worse. You can short trade to hedge your bet, right? But yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm holding what I have. I only have like 15% of the crypto that I had a year ago. So I already made my bet. And it was the Trump tariffs were just going to cause disruption. And they certainly did, again and again and again. You know, friend adding $16 million to average down. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for the summer. Matt, it depends. During a bear market, any run that Dogecoin has is probably short-lived. It's probably just a spike and not a run with a higher level that's going to get sustained. That's typical. It's all about the coin count, right, Anthony? It's the coin count for the future. Right. Clarity won't pump crypto. It'll help long-term. Exactly. You only spot, no shorts. Yep. Me too. I'm not shorting. I kind of entertained the idea. Well, maybe 2026, I might try out shorting. And I'm just like, right now, I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, X Money isn't going to have Dogecoin integrated when it starts. So I've talked about this a number of times over the past year. It's been so many times, right? Short term with no Dogecoin integration, we're looking at 20-cent Dogecoin. From 12 to 20, yeah, that's pretty good. What, 60, 70%, 6, 7, 60, 70% run for Dogecoin. That's pretty good. I think something in that range. If Dogecoin is integrated somehow, then I was talking like 30 to 35 cents. It's not like $1 Doge, not at this point. We're in a bear market. So I know dude's down 90%. I do too. I do too. And it's not going to get better anytime soon, unfortunately. Don't get into a shorting. That's a dangerous road. I doubt X Money will have much effect at all. I think there'll be a pump on Dogecoin when X Money actually does launch. I love real estate too. Real estate actually saved me $1 million. Saved me $1 million. Matt and I were talking about this on a previous live stream because Matt asked a really good question. And it was, hey, Kriss, if you weren't planning on buying that house, would you have sold your crypto? And I was like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I would have been taking as much profit as I did. If I wasn't planning on buying a house. But that was a good question Matt asked. I was like, yeah. And if I had kept all of that crypto and still had it today, I'd be down $1 million from where I was a year ago. So that's why it's good to have a plan and follow through on your plan. Keep buying the lows, right? And it'll probably dip lower. The key is patience. Yes, Tobias, exactly. I wasn't going to be waiting for $1 Dogecoin. And I talked about that, Con. I learned that in 2021 because I didn't sell in May of 2021 when I was up big, because I was waiting for $1 and I was like, I'm not going to do that in 2025. Now 2024, Dogecoin went up to 48 cents. Now I took a slice at 42 cents and I was waiting for 50 cents. Half $1 was going to be my next slice of profit taking. I wasn't waiting for $1. I was like, 50 cents makes sense, right? Half $1. It never got there. It got to 48. It never hit 50. I was waiting for 49. Yeah, I was waiting for 50 and it didn't get there. So my next slice ended up being 32 cents. And then it was like dumping 2 million Dogecoin at like 31 cents at the end of January 2025. Yeah. A lot of people were expecting a new all-time high. I was not, because as I showed at the time, I thought the actual high for Doge back in 2021 should have been 35 cents. That extra up to 70 cents was all Elon hype, and Doge never should have traded that high. And I talked about that. Doge is the only acceptable payment left on Tesla. Yep, that is true. And the Tesla FAQ say the only cryptocurrency Tesla accepts is Dogecoin. Now that was for the merch. When they actually had merch you could buy with Dogecoin, and you can't right now. So I think it's kind of a leftover thing. We pay attention to it, but I don't think Tesla's paying attention to it. And even if Doge is still written in the checkout code, we wait. But I will buy some Tesla stock. I'm just going to wait for the big stock market dip. Tesla is a company. I mean, they're going to be cranking out those Optimus robots. It's like, man, they're going to make so much money. October 10th. I know. October 10th not only had target prices like 9.5 cent Doge, but also, well, I mean, there are a lot of cryptos that are already lower than that October 10th low. Dogecoin has held up pretty well compared to a lot of other alts, which are way down, even more from those October 10th lows. The Doge cycle bottom does not mean Doge extinction. Exactly. Dogecoin is not going to die. People, oh, Dogecoin's dead. No, not. None of my coins hit their non-greedy sell limits except XRP and Jasmy. Yeah, Jasmy hit mine in early January. I was like, okay, I'm selling. I sold all my Jasmy. I had 1 million. Jasmy tokens. Was it 1 million? I don't even remember now. Maybe 1 billion. I don't. I just like, that's over a year now, and I just don't remember it all. I made 3.5x on my 30,000 in December 2024 and only took 10 out. Yeah. Profit taking. We talked about it. In fact, it was the summer of 2024. I was talking about profit taking coming in the fall of 2024 because I thought there would be a spike in crypto coming with the Trump, presidential election if Trump wins, and I called that. And I was talking about taking slices and how we were going to manage it, and we were on our way, right? It didn't keep going up though. Trump ruined it with his stupid Trump token and then the tariffs. So 2025 for alts, and particularly Dogecoin, never became full alt season. We just didn't have it. I know, 6 cent Doge. That's where I think it may go. By the end of summer, we could be seeing 6-cent Dogecoin again. Buying Dogecoin. Yeah, Anthony, it's good that you're honest here. A lot of people make stuff up, and there's really no benefit for that. I believe. I mean, I'm honest with all mine. I've shared all my losses too. I had a bunch of losses, but luckily more gains than losses. Being in this market since November 2024, I've learned the only true way to make money is time in the market. Yeah. You hate to have to round trip it, right? Another 4 years. But hey, all of that crypto I bought in January 2021, I didn't sell until November 2024. That 2-cent Dogecoin, I didn't sell until November 2024. When you were buying, it was late in the month, 42 cents, and that was Doge. I bought it 2 cents, so I got a good profit on that Doge. But it took almost 4 years. You're not in a bad position if you hold. Summer price target for Dogecoin. I did that. We were talking about that. I did that in this video called Crypto Bear Market Bottoms. It was a live stream I did 3 weeks ago. I think this was on like December 31st or something, or somewhere around there. Crypto Bear Market Bottoms. So those were my predictions. So if you go on my YouTube channel and you click the live tab, you scroll down a little bit until you see this, and then watch that. You can scroll through to get to the point where I start showing the fib lines on that. Trump stole alt season. Yep. The S&P 500 price in euro is roughly same as it was a year ago. Yeah, it's all-time high for US dollar. So a year ago, S&P was 6,000. Now it's 7,000. We had the tariff dip and then the recovery and higher. Dogecoin, unfortunately, a year ago was at 26 cents. Well, no, it was actually up here. It was at like 33 cents. This is where I sold. And that was January 31st. So, yeah, 33 cents or so. $33 to $12. Yeah. Thoughts on selling Dogecoin with the Dogecoin price down and moving it into an asset that's at an all-time high? Not the best time, Josh. Not the best time. I can only tell you what I would do, and I would not do that. Yeah, where do you live, Yuli? Are you in the United States? Because you don't have to join, you shouldn't have to join Coinbase One unless you're in a country that requires it. Sell the crypto, buy Walmart. Oh, wait, how are you? So Walmart now, right? A Walmart stock will do fine. Again, I'm waiting for a dip. I'm waiting for a stock market dip. before I start dabbling again in stocks. So I'm waiting for something like this to happen to the S&P 500. I don't know if it's going to dip that low or not, but at least back to 6,000. I'm waiting for that. But I'm not selling crypto. There's going to be other money. Other money. You know, that's that other money. Yeah, November 2024, there's a lot of FOMO going in. So, but I remember you were DCAing though and bringing your average down. You sold some of your gold today. That's probably, again, you know, nothing wrong with taking some profits, especially when you're selling an asset that just went on this incredible run. I mean, yeah, you sell some up here. You take a little profit, $5,000 gold. Yes, take a little profit. Will it keep going up? Maybe. But man, after this kind of run, that's a good move. It's a good move in my book. I never bought gold or silver. Tom Crown didn't either. He was talking about that too. It's interesting to sit on the sidelines and watch it happen. Happy for all those that invested. But yeah, taking profits. Good thing. If sentiment drives cycles, trader sentiment would need to shift every 4 years, yet people aren't that consistent. For your patterns are likely shaped by factors beyond sentiment. True. That's true. But we can talk business cycles. We can talk economic cycles. We can talk the US presidential cycle. And for crypto, we do have the Bitcoin halving just about every 4 years as well, which changes the game for Bitcoin. That's just how it's worked since 2008. It's been these 4-year cycles. So the Trump token, coin token, I don't think so. I'm not touching anything related to Trump again, ever, ever, ever. I'm not buying World Liberty Finance. I'm not buying anything Trump or Trump family touches. Remember last spring when Eric Trump was talking about ETH, right? Oh, you got to buy ETH, buying more ETH. And ETH was up at like 4,000 at the time. It was just like, good call, Eric. Good call. No. Trump was the top signal. Yes, it was in the end. Yeah, silver's too high. Can't get into it now. I just went on this huge run. Yeah. The magnet's still hanging at 30 cents, Chuck. I'm not moving it. If we're going to see a 6-cent Doge in the summertime, I better sell Doge now at 12 and buy back in the summer. Hey, no guarantees, right, Ely? That may not be a great move swing-wise because we have the Elon catalyst thing, right? If X money launches, I don't want to be out of the Doge that I have now. I'm not playing that game. GameStop was in the news that they were selling some Bitcoin. That's all I heard was they were selling some Bitcoin. And the stock price actually went up. Was it directly related to that announcement? I don't know. You average down to 27. Yeah, just have to wait it out. You're in South Carolina. Okay, so you're here in the United States. You're in South Carolina. Why isn't Coinbase giving you yield on your USDC? I don't know. Long-term gold will go up, yes, but is it going to keep going up like it's been? That remains to be seen. Be interested in doing a dividend stock portfolio. Best stocks to hold. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I've actually been thinking about that. I know Andre Jick has a his dividend stock portfolio that he's held for like 10 years, and he makes so much money off that. Of course, then he got into crypto, and then he became mostly a crypto channel with some world finance stuff. And then he's really dialed back the crypto, went back into some of his dividend investing, but really talks more about world economic views now and stuff like that. Still interesting though, whatever the big topic is, he's going to cover it, which is fine. But he's gotten away from just the dividend stock portfolio. But he still has it. He shows it on his Robinhood every now and then. So he was getting into that like 10 years ago or something. Retail talking about metals makes me think the top is it. I know. As soon as you start hearing all the talk, right, coming about buying, it's like, maybe not a good idea. Gold is always going up, but you still don't buy at a raging all-time high. Yeah. And I agree with that. Hey, Kronos, what's up? The Supreme Court tariff decision. Yeah, when is the date of that? When is the date? When does the Supreme Court give their decision on the Trump tariffs? Well, let's see what Grok says. Supreme Court has not yet issued its decision. The court has repeatedly declined to release an opinion in recent batches of decisions, even though the case was expedited and anticipated. The Supreme Court typically releases opinions on scheduled opinion days, often Thursdays. So, recent reports indicate no decision came in January. Court is now in recess until February 20th. So, this makes February 20th, or shortly thereafter, the next likely window for the ruling, though it could theoretically come sooner if the justices finalize it during recess or unscheduled release. This delay has left the tariffs in place for now, contributing to ongoing economic uncertainty, market speculation, discussions about potential refunds if the court rules against the administration. Wow. So there you go. Could be late February the next time. I didn't know that they were on recess till then. Thanks for asking. GameStop is trimming down a number of their stores. True. They got a lot of stores. There's GameStops everywhere. I know like 8 of them near me. It's like way too many. NLY is best dividend stock, pays nearly 13 cents, but it fluctuates. Yeah. So Johnny, if we're going to see this big pullback, maybe it will fluctuate down. Maybe it will fluctuate down. And I'll pick it up. Good dividend stock. Interesting. Yeah, I want to do that. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe. Thank you, Kronos, for reminding everyone. Appreciate it. Any interest in X stock? Are they going to? I don't think they're doing an IPO or anything. So can't get it. SpaceX, they could do an IPO, but I don't buy IPOs. I wait. Metals were up and down. We showed earlier, silver was up 13% for a while today. The daily candle still in the green for gold. It went up to a new all-time high and came back down. Still in the green for the day. So that isn't smacked right there. That's not a smacked chart. 5 green days in a row. Maybe you can talk about dividend stock investing. Good idea, Matt. Maybe I'll cover that. Yep. Probably will wait until I'm ready to buy so that I can show how it actually works. BTC versus silver. Yeah, we covered that earlier. This one. Nope. I got to find it now. Which one was Bitcoin versus silver? We had it. Did I close it? I must have closed it. Shoot. Oh no, I had Bitcoin versus gold. I didn't have Bitcoin versus silver. But I can't find it now anyway. BTC, silver. Silver versus Bitcoin. So this is the other way. Silver versus Bitcoin. Way up. Since August, silver versus Bitcoin is up over 277%. We can do an inverse, right? And that'll give us, there you go, Bitcoin versus silver. What makes you think that's close to the bottom? It's just, it nosedived. It's just down. Hasn't been this price since 2023, January 2023. But that doesn't mean that line is going to hold. But yeah, that is, whew. Crazy run. Doge holding up since the dip Sunday afternoon. Altria and Verizon. I know Verizon. That'll probably do well. HD, AT&T, Chevron, Exxon. When Russia realizes they've lost the war, I don't know if that's going to end anytime soon. They got their heels dug in the ground. Russia wants more land. Ukraine doesn't want to give it up. That's it. Yeah, going to be a cold week the rest of the week. That's why I had to get all that shoveling done today. For those that weren't here earlier, that's why I didn't have a video this morning. I was out shoveling 18 inches of snow that we got. Yeah, and need to get it out of the way before the real cold sets in later this week. So, yeah. Well, I hope everyone has a great week. I will be live again on Wednesday. I'll have videos coming out this week that are not going to be solely Dogecoin. So when you see just a regular kind of finance news event video, I haven't given up on Doge. I just am saving that more for the live streams and my YouTube videos are going to start covering other financial topics. So, but that doesn't matter because people will still complain anyway. I can't win. It's YouTube, right? It is what it is. Yeah, we'll be watching Doge though, and I'm always here on X. So, and I'm always posting stuff about Doge over here on X. So if you follow me at KrissPax over here on X, I mean, I do Bitcoin, I do silver, I did the US government shutdown thing, and I did gold, and I did the football game, Go Pats in the Super Bowl football game yesterday. And Dogecoin, of course. So I do all of that over on X, so join me there. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.